Hi everyone, and welcome back to your second lesson on percentages. Okay, so just as our previous on our first lesson, I'd like you to pause this video and attempt these 4 questions. You take as long as you need, but make sure you write down an answer for all 4. Okay, so number 1, we have to calculate 14 multiplied by 100. If you have a whole number like 14 and you're multiplying it by 100, you simply just stick 2 zeros on at the end. The number 100 has 2 zeros, so you put 2 zeros onto your answer. So your answer is 1,400, okay? Right, for question number 2, we have to write down the name and the type of this angle. The name is when we use 3 letters to describe the angle. We use this sign here to represent angle. Now you can name your angle with the 3 letters really in any order. You don't need to start anywhere in particular, but the letter Q, the letter that is at the vertex, the pointy bit of your angle, needs to be the middle letter. So you can either have an answer of angle P, Q, and then R, or you can have angle R, QP. Now, it doesn't matter which order the R and the P are in, but the Q must be the middle letter, okay? The type of angle, is this an obtuse angle, an acute angle, a right angle, so on and so forth? This is an acute angle. If you have a look at it, it is less than 90 degrees, therefore it must be an acute angle, okay? Right, next question, we have to divide 56.98 by 10. Now this time we don't have a whole number, so it's a wee bit trickier. We have a decimal number. When we're dividing by 10, we pick the decimal point up and we bring it back one place. So it now becomes in between the 5 and the 6. So our answer to this question should be 5.698. Right, question number 4, how many minutes is there in 1 hour? There is 60 minutes in 1 hour, so just a nice easy question, okay? Right, on to what we're learning today. So our learning intention, our aim, we are learning to convert a fraction to a percentage and then to be able to use that in context, okay? We will know if we're successful if we are able to convert a fraction to a percentage and use it in context, and to be able to compare percentages in context, okay? I'll show you examples of what I mean by this later on, okay? Right, so if we're converting a fraction to a percentage, the first step we do is to take the fraction into a decimal. To do that, we simply do the division, okay? After we've went from a fraction to a decimal, we then jump from a decimal to a percentage. And to do that, we multiply by 100 because we know that percent means out of 100, okay? So, we show you an example of that. So if I have the fraction 3/4, to go from the fraction to the decimal, we do the division. We do the 3 divided by 4. So into your calculator. If you don't have a calculator handy, quickly pause this video and go get one because you will need one today. I should have said that at the beginning, okay? So, into your calculator, you will type 3 divided by 4. So we do the division, and then that should give you an answer of 0.75. To go from our decimal to our percentage, we simply times by 100 in our calculator, so you should have an answer of 75%, okay? Right, some examples of this. I want you to write the following fractions as percentages. So for the first one, we have 27 over 100. So the first thing I'd like you to do in your calculators is to do the division. So type 27 divided by 100 and hit equals. Check that you get 0.27. And then our second step is to simply multiply that by 100. So multiply by 100 and check that you get an answer of 27%. Okay. That was a nice easy one because it was out of 100. This one, next one's not quite so easy. We have 3/20. So step number 1 in your calculators, type 3 divided by 20. For this one, as a decimal, you should have 0.15. Second step is to multiply by 100 to get your answer. If you multiply it by 100, you should have 15%. Okay. Now remember, you can use a calculator for all steps of this today, but from this point here you won't necessarily need your calculator, because from lesson 1 we know that if we have a decimal of 0.15, that as a percentage is 15%. But you can use your calculator today, but for this step here you don't always necessarily need it. Okay. Right, 58 over 200. So into your calculator I want you to type 58 divided by 200. Check that you get the same as me, which is 0.29. (0.29) as a percentage, if we multiply it by 100, is 29%. Okay. Right, this is the second part of our lesson today, using these fractions into percentages and using it in context, okay, so in a real life situation. So, Paul scored 24 out of 30 in his English test, and he scored 36 out of 40 in his maths test. By finding the percentage score for each, which is his best subject, so in which test did he do better in, okay? Right, if we start with English, he got 24 out of 30 for his English. So to change that into a percentage, we do 24 divided by 30 and then times it by 100. So for English, Paul scored 80%. For maths, he got 36 out of 40, so we do 36 divided by 40 to get our decimal. Then we times it by 100 and we see that Paul scored 90% for maths. So we would say that in Paul's best subject is maths. That's the one he did better in. Okay. Right, your turn to try some of these questions here. So keep your calculator handy. You will need it for today's lesson. You can use it for all the questions if you want. So you're going into the week 4 file, you're looking for the percentage worksheet lesson 2. Once you've attempted your questions, I need you to mark them and then upload them to the class notebook. Okay? Good luck, guys.